Let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter, who joins us live tonight from Columbia, South Carolina. All right, Chanley, we'll show it to folks coming up in just a little bit, but you were there. Describe for everyone at home who was in the courtroom and what that moment was like when the jury said guilty.
Vinny, what an intense moment. The whole week and a half of this trial has been intense because it's a deeply divided courtroom. We have one side full of Samantha Josephson's family, at least 3 rows of her mom, her dad, her boyfriend, extended family, and there's a presence for Nathaniel Rowland consistently, his mother, father, brother, extended family on the other side of the courtroom. It was a moment that, unlike what I've really seen inside a courtroom when a guilty verdict is read, because the family of Samantha Josephson, they were trying to muffle their reaction because the judge admonished them to have decorum. But Vinny, they let loose more than 2 years of pent-up emotion. It was released. Sighs, tears streaming down their faces. They literally looked like they melted into each other. Samantha's father pumped his fist in the air, saying yes. And, you know, after there were 3 guilties that were read: possession of a deadly weapon during a violent felony, the murder, and the kidnapping. And it was a moment, I'm sure, that they are just still celebrating tonight.
Yeah, and we're watching it right now, Chanley. And for many people watching this trial, right, it was overwhelming evidence. We know that. Many of us were not necessarily surprised by the verdict. But this moment means so much to this family. And this, we can't lose this part of these cases. Because this family, Samantha's not coming back. And if that jury had said anything but guilty, I can't imagine what would have happened to them. Right now, we see them, they're clutching onto one another. And Chanley, this is, you know, for our system of justice, for victims and victims' families, this is all they have. Their loved ones never coming back. So if they don't get this moment, they don't get this verdict, if the person they believe is responsible is not convicted, it is a double gut punch. So at least for this family today, some sense of, okay, he's been held responsible, because from the beginning, this family has been so emotional, as has the defendant's family. But for these folks, this has been absolute torture. And they're not from there, right? They had to travel down to the courthouse for all this, right? From out of state.
Yeah, they've been here from New Jersey this entire time, and for the Josephson family, Vinny, everything was riding on this verdict. You could tell during the entire trial, because I tried to speak with the family a couple of times. They requested privacy, but just observing her father up close, passing by him, saying a cordial hello or good morning, you could sense his anger. I don't think he ever stopped shaking throughout the entire trial. Even earlier, after closing arguments, Vinny, he punched the courtroom door as he left it. You can't imagine what they've been through over the last 2.5 years. And they got to voice that a little bit in the sentencing phase, which I felt they really needed to do.
And we're going to show all those victim impact statements later on in the program tonight. But right now, I want to play Nathaniel Rowland, who spoke. And then I want to ask you about reaction to his statement, but let's hear it first.
Defendant will rise. Madam Clerk, you may publish the verdicts.
Indictment number 2019 GS40 2528, the state of South Carolina versus Nathaniel David Rowland. It's an indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. Read the jury find the defendant guilty. Please sign four-person jury number 130. July 27, 2021. Indictment number 2019 GS40 2450, the state of South Carolina versus Nathaniel David Rowland. It's an indictment for murder. Read the jury find the defendant guilty. This is signed by the foreperson, jury number 130, July 27, 2021. Indictment number 2019, GS 402453, the state of South Carolina versus Nathaniel David Rowland. It's an indictment for kidnapping. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. This is signed foreperson, jury number 130, July 27, 2021.
Is there anything you would like to say?
Your Honor, I know I'm innocent. But I guess what I know and what I think really doesn't matter. I just wish the state would have done more in finding out who the actual person was, instead of being satisfied with detaining me and proving my guilt. I feel like if they would have done further research in certain areas.
All right, let me bring back in Chanley. Chanley, what was reaction to the statement of the defendant?
Well, of course, looks of disgust and disdain coming from Samantha Josephson's family. But Vinny, this was a moment inside the courtroom. During the sentencing phase today, the judge allowed the jurors to stay, even though their jobs were over. They had nothing to do with sentencing. The box was full. Seeing them react to the Samantha Josephson's family, tears on jurors' faces, and then to have the defendant himself, who they did not hear from during the guilt phase of the trial, stand to talk to the judge, it was like we were all leaning in because he was very hard to hear inside the courtroom. We wanted to hear what he had to say. Was he going to apologize? But no, he has a story. He's sticking to it. He is innocent. He maintained that in front of the judge, and it was disappointing to the family and, of course, to the jurors who just convicted him.
And he's done now, right? Life without parole?
Life. He will not have any parole. He will spend the rest of his life in prison in South Carolina, Vinny. I'm sure his defense will work to appeal and have all of those post-trial motions. They even made a couple today that the judge vehemently denied. He was very stern, didn't mince words, and he felt that this was the right way.
All right, let's bring in tonight's think tank. Joining us in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney, former federal prosecutor, and law professor at Texas Southern University, Michael Sterling. In Seattle, Washington, trial attorney Ann Bremner. And in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney Michael Bixson. Great to see everyone. Michael Sterling, this was an extremely emotional day inside the courtroom, and what Chanley described with the jury staying in there and being there for the moment that the defendant decided to speak and deny his guilt. Very unusual, but at the end of the day here, I'm looking at this case, and the evidence is what it is. I mean, who on earth were investigators supposed to look for? Somebody else driving his car?
Yeah, Vinny. I mean, it is a tough road to hoe, as they say. But look, let's be clear. Stranger things have happened. We've seen some cases here on Court TV where we believe the person was absolutely innocent and they get convicted, and we've seen the opposite happen.
Who, me? Wait. Wait, were you saying I saw somebody that was innocent in one of these trials?
You never see anybody who's innocent, Vinny. So, no, I'm not referring to you.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was a very emotional day, Vinny. The evidence is very, very overwhelming. But he's clearly sticking to his story, sticking to his innocence, continuing to say that he's not guilty of this crime. And so that's concerning. I mean, either he's a sociopath who is completely guilty, or somebody has framed this innocent man.
Yeah, that let me tell you, and that would be some amazing frame job that was done here. I mean, this was one of the best ever. And every trial we come across here recently at Court TV, someone's getting framed. The next story we're going to talk about is another frame job. And let me ask you about that. How many cases have you handled where someone was framed?
That would be 0, Vinny.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the guest who joins me and tells me about the frame job. Unless Michael, do you? Michael.
I have actually.
All right. Hold that thought. We'll get to you in just a second. You can tell us about the innocent person who's framed. And sometimes there's no defense case. There's no defense evidence because there is no evidence to show that he's not guilty because they actually police, investigators, and prosecutors all got it right along with the jury.
Right. And that was his case. I mean, he didn't put on a case. The whole thing was talking about the DNA and opening statements, and then it went silent all suddenly. I mean, where's the defense? And then he gets up and says, you know, I think I'm innocent. I know I'm innocent. With all the jurors sitting there, like you said, who just convicted him, you know, and the family and everybody else. And how long did it take him? A little bit over an hour. Not much.
Oh, they were fast. That's some fast justice. All right, Michael Bixson, tell us about, and give us the short version though, but and I'm all open to it. You had a client that was framed?
So I can't go into any type of like ongoing litigation, but I can tell you from past experience, I have seen people framed, and whether it's by private individuals, whether it's by police, I have seen these cases happen, and they do. Now, how often they happen is a different story, but do they happen? Absolutely.
Now, are you sure this isn't when you were watching Law and Order? This wasn't an episode of Law and Order. This was real life.
Vinny, hey, it happens.
Okay.
I mean, look, if you're going to say that police don't frame people, it happens. Absolutely, it happens. Not just private people, but police.
In Biscayne, Florida, Vinny, if I remember correctly, federal prosecutors indicted and prosecuted and convicted the chief of police of the Biscayne Police Department for inappropriately framing black suspects for years.
Okay,
so, yeah, I get it.
I get it. All right, you guys win. The Michaels win. You can be framed. This particular case, though, I don't think so. Neither does the judge. Take a listen.
The evidence is so substantial in this case, pointing to your guilt. And I emphasize that and re-emphasize it because of the horrific and most brutal nature of this crime. It could not be worse. It's the most severe murder that has occurred that I have been a witness to as far as presiding in court or participating in as a lawyer. And for whomever asked me for leniency, that's not part of my DNA. You know, I have 2 daughters, one of whom sit in this seat more often than I do, and another of whom live in a city who have to encounter people on a daily basis. And I have sons. I would like to think I know my sons and my daughters very well. Certainly, I would be in disbelief if any of them were to find themselves standing in a spot like you. But even more so, the terror imposed on their child and the pain and grief that you've caused. She was an amazing person, an amazing human being, and the testimony is here. And she obviously put up an amazing fight against you and left a sufficient trail for the jury to see. And sentencing in this case is not difficult. The sentence in this case is easy, though painful it may be. The sentence of the court for murder is that you be committed to the State Department of Corrections for life. Any other sentence that can be imposed will be concurrent with life. Since you only have one life, that sentence must be served for the remaining days of your natural life.
Ann Bremner, I appreciate it when judges become human on the bench and take the opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of judges that just kind of, they'll go aggravating, mitigating, monotone. No, that's not this judge. And that's not the kind of judge my father was either when he was on the bench. And I appreciate that.
I can only imagine that he was wonderful like this judge, Vinny. I mean, I was sitting thinking to myself, I love this judge. I mean, he talks about his own family. He talks about her family. He talks about how amazing she was. And the jury heard it all. I mean, he hit everything and the emotion was spot on. He's a wonderful judge, very empathetic, but also I loved it when he said, that's just not my DNA to give you leniency. And he didn't.